Come on. Come on. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope that you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here on this lovely Saturday morning that it is for myself. Hope that you guys are having a lovely one wherever you are. I got a nice glass of iced chai ready to go, and I hope you're ready to go with some Yukihiro Takahashi 1981 album, Neuromantic. Okay, I had stumbled across this album on RYM. I was searching, I don't even know what genre I was looking at the genre charts, and I came across this album cover, right? The album cover, first of all, immediately grabbed my attention. Just the colors, the paintbrushes on there, the thoughtful face of Mr. Takahashi, and then he is the lead singer and drummer from YMO, Yellow Magic Orchestra. We haven't listened to a ton of them here on the channel, but we listened to them quite a while back. I am familiar with Mr. Sakamoto, rest in peace, of course, and as well to Mr. Takahashi. But just the album cover grabbed my attention, right? So I was like, ooh, I want to listen to this. And I was about to listen to this on my own, but I said, you know what? I'm going to save this for the channel. I'm going to do this one on the channel. Sometimes I listen to stuff on my own. Sometimes I listen to stuff for the channel. Then I looked up some of the, well, I didn't look up. I had the Wikipedia page up here. Some of the personnel in this album. You got, of course, Mr. Sakamoto on keyboards on, I guess, a few of these tracks here. Then you have Adam McKay from Roxy Music. Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music. Like, you have these random people on here that even further makes me excited to get into this album. Now, even though this album I came across on my own, something I'll also do is just type it in the comments to see if anyone's recommended, you know, the music in the past or whatever. And there were a few people actually that recommended this album. So Thomas Sermay, Jay Fergs, I see you there as well. Grady Patterson, Christian Moeller, and Tony Barrick too, who said Neuromantic is one of the great lost albums of the 80s, and he is prepared to die on that hill. Well, we have to climb the hill before we can die on it. so I'm really excited to listen to this. Now, the only version I could find is the 2021 Yoshinori Tsunahara remaster, so that's what we're going to listen to. And then I do have the lyrics here translated into English, so I'll be referring to those as we go over the lyrics to each of the tracks. But without further ado, I'm so excited to get into this just because of the personnel and the album cover. That's all it takes. Like, I'm loving that album cover. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a sip of the chai. Hope that you guys aren't saying bye and more of a hi at the moment. Hold on. Ah, that's good. That is really good. Let's start off with the first track, Glass. Let's get it going. Is this David Sylvian? I'm loving it. And the drums, the percussion, the electronics. This little breakdown. I am in such a happy place right now, you don't even know. There's McKay. Alright, I want to talk to you as genuinely, honestly, straightforward as I can, okay? I told you, I've been looking forward to listening to this album already. I've probably had it on my wish list for maybe, I could actually check accurately, like at least a month, 2 months, maybe, I would even say. Hold on, I can find out exactly. I've been really looking forward to listening to this album. And like I said before, like, I really was like, maybe I'll just listen to it on my own. But at the same time, I was like, let me just do it on the channel, right? So, okay, it hasn't been that long. It's been 2 months that I've had it on my wish list to listen to. I told you how attracted I was to a lot of things here, and the music from the first track, I am so impressed. I am so satisfied. I can't describe to you how happy I am. Like, yeah, I'm here, a guy doing a reaction video, but especially with something like this, like, I'm just enjoying it. I love the drumming, the percussion, the beats, the groove of it all, the electronic synths, the bum 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 bum, the bounciness of that riff, bum 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 bum. Like, this is really capturing that actually Neuromantic movement, because apparently the title is a pun on the early 1980s British fashion movement, the Neuromantics, which I thought it was more like Neuromantic, combining like neuros, like brain thoughts, with romantic, like thinking about romance and something like that. But and then the contributions from Manzanera and McKay, just that little guitar solo. It was a short one, but it was a sizzler, right? And then you have McKay on the horns coming in after, smoothing things out. Now, I wasn't expecting Mr. Takahashi to have such a rich and stately voice. I didn't expect him, and this is just me making comparisons, I can't help it. He was singing a little bit like David Sylvian, and I was like, I was very taken aback. I wasn't expecting that. I should have expected some things like that, because I also see that the producer here is Steve Nye, who has produced Brilliant Trees by David Sylvian. I don't know if he's produced other albums by him. He may have. I'm not sure. But I know that one for sure. And you can hear and feel that touch in here. This is just... I am in such a happy place. See, like, I didn't know I was going to like this, but, like, everything I knew about it and read about it implied that I was going to like this. And I am really liking this. Also, I didn't know that he was going to be singing in English. Maybe I just didn't, like, think about it. But yeah, I thought that he would be singing in Japanese, but no, he's singing straight in English. Rain on the window, falling slow, visibility is getting low. I could have sworn there was someone here, but there isn't even a trace, only the memory of a face. Waves of amber seep into my brain, insidiously numbing the pain. Just one of millions hanging on, clutching at thin ice that melts away closer to the bottom every day. This memory of looking into the glass, seeing your reflection, but also looking through, slowly that is fading. Slowly the memories are fading. How many times have I asked myself, is your reflection for real or just the glass? And I mean, that actually works even with the album cover, you know? You can imagine him looking through the glass there as he's looking in the album cover there. I don't know, dude. Listen, if the rest of the album is like in this vein, I'm going to be a very, very happy camper. I am going to pitch a tent. That's how happy of a camper I'm going to be. Let's move into the next track here, Grand Espoir. Man, I hope that you guys are liking this. This is like so up my alley. Let's move on to the next track. I actually just want to... This is where the excitement takes over me doing a video. I just want to listen to the music. Let's go. I'm all smiles. I love these little electronic explorations. All the vibration on it too. So I can't always pick out who's doing what, because you have like multiple members who are handling keyboards. You have Takahashi, Hosono, Sakamoto, even Mansfield. Like, you have a lot of people handling different things. And then actually all the guitars are Kenji Omura or Phil Manzanera. Like, you have a lot of people doing different things, so I'm not always going to be able to apply who's doing what, because I'm just listening. I can't see. Even if I could see, I probably wouldn't know who's who. But regardless, I really love all the electronic synths, keyboards that are going on in this particular track, because they're so bouncy and very catchy, very playful. If you listen to a lot of the pops, the squeaks, the to me, the quivering bells, that wow, 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 like that little ascension that was in there, it's just a cool little mood. And like I said, the drum kind of takes all that and jollily, I don't know if that's a word, but it works in the context, jollily pushes everything along with this very exploratory rhythm. And like I said, during the track, the electronic explorations are so delightful to listen to here. And what I enjoy is that while the music is kind of playful and innocent, his singing is kind of low, kind of just an element of atmosphere that kind of changes the whole atmosphere and mood of the music underneath it. He's not really singing on top of the music, he's kind of singing beneath it, actually, which I actually think is a pretty cool dynamic here. I was expecting him to be a little bit more upfront and outspoken, but he's more mild-mannered in relation to the music here, and kind of singing into the undercurrents of it all, while at the same time packing a lot of meaning into the lyrics. Here, in Grand Espoir, she appears from off the wall, spinning your house off by the ceiling behind us, and the same thing from the ceiling, she whispers our prophecies for tomorrow. It was always night under a moon full enough to burst. It had to be night. Her hips just like the moon. Her hips shifting just like the moon. Shifting them phases. The spirit sent her to me, and seeing her is like a ritual. And she said that we don't know when you should come. I stare again at the mark on the wall. So he describes her coming off the wall and how he feels about her. He says seeing her is like a ritual. Her hips are like the moon. So obviously he's applying beauty to her. And I like this idea of the ritual when she comes off the wall. I'm assuming towards him, perhaps romantically or otherwise. But like it's like a game. It's like a ritual. He knows what to expect. He knows there's something perhaps at the end waiting for him. But he has to go through this game, this ritual. I guess to get what he wants. I don't know. She appeared as usual, telling me, what globe is this? I wish I could forget them all, but my life doesn't mean a thing without her. I don't know what is a Grand Esquire like a thing. I don't know what that's supposed to mean exactly. That doesn't help me. It just brings me back to this particular track. I was just trying to see if this was like, if there's a meaning to that specific word, because I don't even know if I've like heard that word necessarily. Let's look up Esquire. Maybe that'll help us out. It is a makeup brand, so there's that. But I don't see anything else, so I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Maybe it's just, I don't know, but maybe it's just one of those words that presents itself as something without having a necessarily direct and definitive meaning. I don't know. Regardless, I'm enjoying this. Let's move on into the next track, which is going to be Connection. Let's go. Oh, this is hype. Oh, this is awesome. You can hear all the synths coming in and just doing their work. That little tiny synth. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, man. All right. So I know we're only 3 tracks in, but this is my favorite song thus far. Incredibly upbeat. I'm in love with that synth bass, the actual movement of it. That is so sweet. And then here I can really hear a separation of all the different synth layers, right? So I can imagine it's kind of like a group like Kraftwerk, where you have like all these different keyboardists and synthesizers and whatever, and each member is handling a specific facet, you know. So one member might be handling that synth bass, ba-da-dum-bum, ba-da-dum-bum-bum. The other one's going off with like some of those sound effects. The other one's playing a main lead melody. You can really get a feel for how much depth there is in just the synth work. Then the drumming. I love his drumming. Like it's so. It just is satisfying to listen to. It's energetic. It hits all the right notes. It's not overly complicated, and yet it's not simple. It's just, I don't know. I'm just very impressed by his drumming. It reminds me, yeah, a little bit. It reminds me of Steve Jansen from Japan and his drumming in there, where it's not necessarily like complicated in a progressive manner or overly technical manner, but there is a little bit of complication in the actual rhythms that he comes up with. Like they're more artfully inspired, and that's what I'm getting here as well. Like they're more artfully inspired with the way that he's playing those drums, especially in those little breakdown moments, and you can hear the guitar come in with that melody. Da, 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 da. I like those kind of brushy sounds that pop in. That I just pulled the mic, but you have that a lot in here. This, I don't know how you guys are feeling about this so far, but this is, I am feeling amazing listening to this. This is fantastic. Like I said, completely up my alley. So far up my alley that you could call it a colonoscopy. Time and again I call out to you, but all I obtain is your ringing tone, which you do hear in the track. You do hear that. I did say it was like a phone call, but it also kind of sounds like a muted pigeon. I get no reply. I'm not getting through. Time and again I wait here for you, but waiting's in vain. I call you once more, but still there's no reply. That connection is just not happening. I haven't got a clue how to connect with you. Maybe the line's cut down, broken without a sound. Time and again I question myself. It drives me insane. So please, someone, won't you answer me? Haven't got a clue how to connect with you. Maybe the line's cut down, broken without a sound. So obviously this romantic line is disconnected. You know, that you're calling and you're basically getting a response, that automated voice message. Sorry, this phone number you've dialed has been disconnected. And you're like, what? Oh man, I hope that you guys are enjoying this. I'm so in love with this. Let's go ahead. Sorry, I think I have a piece of my chai stuck in my throat, and the only cure is to drink some more. Hold on. Yep, that'll do it. All right, let's move on into the next track, which is New Red Roses. Let's go. This track has squam energy all over it. Squam energy is the sound of squams. If you don't know what squam sounds like, it's what it's like. It's that electronic squawking kind of sound, and it's fun. It's quirky, and this song, like I said during, like it puts all that experimental sound architecture into a funky rhythm-based groove that you can't help but move to. Like I said, it feels like going down the highway and the beaches on both sides, palm trees are just lining up you. And the sun is on the horizon, and you know there's a good time, some summer ahead of you. That's what it feels like with that bass. Bum, 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 bum. Just so bright and sunny. The drums, of course, dum, 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 dum. It's just so jammy. But then on top of it, on this particular track, you're going to have Kenji Omura, who's handling guitars, and then, of course, Takahashi. But the back and forth between the kind of light but somewhat dissonant sounds of the synth, like, and then switching into those bigger, grander, almost more ominous, but yet anthemic kind of sounds, is really cool the way they back and forth on that. And then the chorus of the track, when you have that big bellow that comes from beneath and just rises up, kind of in a glorious volcanic fashion. I really enjoy that lead synth in the verse. It almost sounds like the synth that couldn't. And what I mean, it sounds like a synth that's kind of broken, which is a kind of unique effect. Like, it's not smooth, it's kind of jagged. And then it sounds like it warbles off key briefly. Like, it actually sounds broken, which, like I said, it's kind of a cool effect in such a smooth rhythmic track like this, you know? Because they could have just settled on making this smooth track and like, okay, it's dancey, it sounds good. It's a nice instrumental break here on the album. But no, they still decide to toss in some of that seasoning that at first you're like, a little off-put, but by the time you kind of allow your taste buds to mature with it, you're like, huh, you know, actually this adds a totally different dimension that maybe I wouldn't have even thought of experimenting or trying before. And that makes it all the more satisfying to listen to. Let's move ourselves into the fifth track here on the album, Extraordinary. Oh, let's go. Like, I'm sure that's McKay on something. Oh, that was it. It kind of ended kind of quick. This is just so cool. I know I keep saying it, but I don't even know where to begin with this one. One thing I'm kind of thinking and feeling, and I could be wrong, but listening to kind of what I mentioned, those deep layers of synths that are going on throughout the keyboards, all the different sounds that they come up with, it kind of makes me think like, this doesn't sound like something that could be automated. Yes, literally, I know that you can automate it, but this doesn't sound like them like playing a sound and then just looping it and just putting it on. This has a live feel to it. This has musicians, keyboardists all together in one room and kind of bouncing these rhythms, these changes off of one another, because it just feels so purposeful when you listen to the instrumental beneath. There's a lot of repeated segments, but there's also like little human touches within those that kind of change everything. You know, obviously you have the shifts between like a verse and a chorus, but even within verses, like there's just like little tiny detailed changes that I'm listening to that also makes me think like on future listens, I could pick up so many different layers of instruments that are going on in here. And then not even to speak of of Phil and Andy, who Andy, it sounds like he's blowing his saxophone near the end, but it just sounds so like distorted, and there's something else going on with it that I still think it's him. I just don't know exactly what's being done to his instrument there at that point. Takahashi's singing, I really enjoy in here. I especially enjoy that little lift he adds onto the end of his lines when he sings. I don't know what he's saying, but he says, "Da, da, 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 da," like that little lift. I don't know. There's just something about that. And then when the music changes into that ominous tone, like I said, it feels like a cold wind sending you shivers down your spine, like something's behind you, but you don't see anything. I like when the music changes into that. It kind of adds a little bit of a different dimension. And you always have this interesting contrast of sound and colors going on. So while one synth may play like a melody that's repeated and kind of cheery and bouncy, you have another one on the side that's playing opposite, contrasting that sound that kind of provides something a little maybe more thoughtful, darker, in not internal, but introspective. Like there's this really cool balance if you're listening to all the instruments and what they're providing, which in totality adds up to this very well-rounded listen and an extremely fulfilling listen as well. Leave me alone, I've had it up to here. This endless gossip is getting very tedious. People pulling the ground from under you. The falling feeling is so mysterious. Eating pleasure, living in a dream. So nice to lead a life of luxury. Over and over the same old images. Could it be that I'm extraordinary? Could it be that I'm outside of the norm? I think I've seen this scene somewhere before. It's like the echo of a closing door. BGM on the radio. Everything is as good as could possibly be. Keep on walking, humming a melody. Rain or shine, it's all my destiny. So he's just kind of taking it all in. He's kind of taking things as they are. He feels extraordinary perhaps because he's not interested in the going-ons of I don't know. He says gossip. He says this endless gossip is getting tedious. People pulling the ground from under you. The falling feeling is so mysterious. Despite how life throws curveballs at you, despite how maybe even other people directly and purposely throw curveballs at you, he's just enjoying the moment. Rain or shine, good or bad, he's taking it all in and he's just enjoying life. And perhaps that's what makes him feel extraordinary or different from other people, is that he's just having a positive outlook. And speaking of a positive outlook, I hope that you guys are enjoying this album listen. Hope that you guys are enjoying, like, I don't know if you're still here. I don't know. I know sometimes people leave. That's fine. But if you're here right now, I hope that you're having a positive experience. I hope that you're looking out towards the next few tracks on here. If you are enjoying the album listen, if you are here at this point, put in the comment your favorite letter. Just the letter, and then put like your normal comment, but just put the letter. I'm just curious. I like, and it's how I do a full album listen. I love doing little things like that just to see who's like still listening. Anyways, let's move on to the next track. We have 4 more to go, and I'm having a great time. Hope that you guys are as well, genuinely. Drip, drip, not drip, drip. Drip, dry eyes. Let's go ahead and get it in. I suggest you drip dry your eyes, because was this the best track on the album so far? Alright, it's between this one and Connection. These are my 2 favorite tracks on the album already. His singing flowers here. He's not in the undercurrent, he's not in the atmosphere. He comes out forward under the spotlight onto the stage, step up, sing out with your chest out, back straight, face forward. And he hits it. Confidence. He sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm not going to mention David Sylvian's name again, however, I just did. Once again, that bouncy, cheerful bass line, which is kind of murky in tone, but still gives it the needed depth. Ba-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. That glassy synth wavering and singing on top of everything. Da-da-dun. Then you have Andy, I almost said Adam. Andy comes in, provides you with that smoothness, those horns just singing. And then in the chorus, the way that the guitar pops in, not with like a hard, distorted riff or anything like that, just a couple plucks of the string. Just a little bit of that echoing melody to let you know that everything's coming up roses. Absolutely wonderful. The break, where the music dropped out, left with the drums, and we recreate where we originally came from with that original glassy melody. And a soulful performance to boot. This has everything. What else am I going to say about it that I haven't said before? This is just so wonderful to listen to. Feels like I've been through a washing machine. I'm all washed up. I'm ready to drop. You just plugged me in and took me for a spin. You just used me. You plugged me in, took me for a spin, and now I'm out. I'm all dried up. I'm out. With your drip, dry eyes. My, you can cry, you can smile at the same time. When you're near, with those crocodile tears, you're like a tap turning off and on. My heart gets hurt with your waterworks. You turn those tears on and off, using them to manipulate me, to use me. You can cry and smile at the same time. And every time you do, it works. He says his heart gets hurt with her waterworks. And actually, those lyrics just repeat there as well. He doesn't need to say much, and yet the message comes across quite clear. Best track on the album along for Connection. Not a doubt in my mind. Let's move on into the next one here, which is going to be Curtains. It's Curtains for you. Let's go. Big synth came in. I like how before this synth comes in, how empty it feels, right? You know? Curtains actually could end up being my third favorite track on the album. Especially after the immaculate Drip Dry Eyes. I love how empty and kind of dark this felt. Like, you hear those little synth strings, especially at the end, that then it pops back out and goes back into the and some of those chords, the way they're being played, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it reminded me, I'm not saying it sounded like it, but it just reminded me a little bit in some way of like a bossa nova melody, but it also reminded me of like the Wii channel the Wii channel menu music. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum. I don't know why. I'm not talking about like the movement or anything like. I don't know, just the way the chords are being played. And then Yukihiro, like he sounds a little like more, I guess, gloomy, maybe introspective here than usual. But the way that the verse is so empty compared to when the main synth lead comes in the chorus, I thought was actually a very powerful statement. Like I said, after the last track, which is just so filled to the gills with melody and beauty and etc., etc., this one kind of takes a little bit of a step back and gives us more of an atmospheric take. Even at the same time, while still providing us with the things we've heard throughout in the album, the groovy bass line, the pulsating drums, like everything's still in effect, but it kind of takes a look inside. See, like those chords, those. Listen, if you've heard the Wii channel music, I don't know why. And then you still have these crystalline blips and blops that happen on either side, these ghostly voices, like whispering, like, I don't know. You just really get such a depth of sound from the band. And something I've noticed as well is that a lot of times they'll repeat melodies later on in a track, but just change the sound that's being repeated. Like they'll change, I guess, the pad or whatever it may be. And on one hand, I think that in less capable hands, that would sound kind of cheap. Like, oh, you're just repeating the same melody, you're just changing the sound slightly. But here, I can imagine, I can feel, especially looking at the lineup of musicians, they took their time to actually like find the perfect sound, fine-tuning an already existing sound to put into that melody so that it changes the dynamics of the music, but it still adds certain character to it. And there's so much character going on in here, so many dynamics, even when the music relatively is repetitive or stays a certain track, I think that this could be a third favorite. Did I even go into the lyrics? No, I didn't. People tell me there's no way out. They think I'm slightly out of my mind. You were all I wanted to see, but I was just a hint of color. Or, hold on. But I was just a hint colorblind. Mmm. Perhaps couldn't see everything in this other person. He was just a hint colorblind. He couldn't see it all. Rose-tinted eyes made a fool of me. I know it's curtains. Maybe next time I'll see. He was trying to see the good, and yet perhaps in seeing the good, overlooking the negative. And he says, I know it's curtains. I know it's the end. Maybe next time I'll see. I must have walked a million times up and down the same cul-de-sac. Every time it looks very fine, but in the end I come crawling back. Nice word usage there, the cul-de-sac. Of course, it's not like a street. You just don't go out. You got to go in, and you got to go back out the same way. These heavy blinds won't let me see. I know it's curtains, curtains for you and me. Open your eyes, open your eyes. I like that, these heavy blinds. I have these blinds here. They don't do a great job, but people passing by shouldn't be able to see in. But like these heavy blinds, they won't let me see. And if you slant blinds just the right way, you can see out, but people can't see in, right? And he's saying they won't let me see. And in the end, he knows that's curtains for them. This is so good. I'm glad I'm listening to this today. Let's move on into the next track, which is going to be Charge. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to charge my laptop soon. Let's go. It's going back and forth, panning. I like that. It's kind of genty, too. It's kind of cool. I love the sound for that snare. That replacement. Okay, Charge was completely a left field direction. We went straight into the old arcade. You would definitely hear these sounds in an old arcade. Are you kidding me? It sounds like an intro to like Street Fighter or like an old game like that. Like when they're doing the thing like this and then do like that or whatever. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that screen. But like this sounds exactly like that. I like how progressive this sounds. This is, what year did this album come out? 1981. Not only do you have that sound, which sounds so like 16-bit, 32-bit music, but hear me out, this actually fits in very well in modern gent, metalcore music, where a lot of bands incorporate these electronic sounds, these arcade-like sounds. Like, this would sound very, very much on point for like a band like We Butter the Bread with Butter. Like a band like that incorporates these electronic elements. The sweet guitar on top of that as well, giving it a totally new life. I really enjoy that. And then you listen to the drums as well. And like how you especially heard it in the second half of the track. But the snare, it's so diluted and changed into a different sound. Excuse me for a second. I had to cough. I had something in my throat. Like I said, like there's impact, but it's like so like digitized. That's not even the word. That is so cool. I like how glitchy it is, and that main riff, I guess if you could call it that like that's something you would hear like Meshuggah or like one of these genty bands do. Born of Osiris Veil, like they would be doing that. That is so cool. I'd be disappointed if I looked up this track and see that like a metal band hasn't covered it, because you could so easily turn everything into heavy guitars and etc. etc. Look at Yukihiro doing gent in 1981. Let's move on into the final track of the album here, Something in the Air. Hope that you guys have had a wonderful time listening to this one with me. Let's go ahead and finish it out. We will talk about it after. I like how that all swells up. I can only speak for myself, but this was a wonderful sunset to the album, especially the opening, which just like blossoms and blooms with immediate light. It feels like a sunrise, or at least a final sunrise. And then moving through the track, it's so upbeat, so positive, so happy. I don't know if the lyrics are happy. I haven't looked at them, but I guess actually, you know what? The title of the track is Something in the Air. That phrase is often used when, I don't know, for example, you step outside, you're going through your day, and you don't know what it is. There's something inexplainable. You can't put words to it, but there's this overwhelming sensation of, for just a moment, everything is kind of right. Everything is not only going okay, but everything is kind of good. There's something in the air. There's something magical. It's this unexplainable feeling. And listening to the music, actually now thinking about that, with the blooming chords and the light up synths, like it does feel like something magical is happening in the air. Perhaps in celebration of the music that was recorded, perhaps in celebration of the album, the recording process, getting this out there. I don't know, but there was something in the air with the music, and of course the singing is swinging, the synths are glistening. There's those big chords that light up in the beginning and then close at the end, which is actually very fitting for, like I said, this sunset kind of sound that we have here. I am so happy that I sat down and listened to this album. I'm happier that I did it with you guys, and I hope that some of you enjoyed it. But this far more exceeded my expectations. I'm so happy to have listened to this thing. The lyrics on this particular track: the echo of a closing door, the sound of water running. In another room, a click of footsteps on the ceiling. I gotta switch on all the lights. It's nearly time to close the blinds. But as I look up at the clouds, something in the air taking hold of me. Wonder where it's gonna lead. So I like also that lyrically, at least it seems that there's references to like the past tracks when he's talking about the blinds again. The echo of the closing door. So it seems that there's like little, I don't know if it's purposeful or not, but little references to previous lines in other songs. So before closing up, it's like there's something calling him. Before he closes up shop, before he heads home, or he is home, and he's about to, I guess, retire, for lack of a better word, for the night, there's something in the air that calls to him, that beckons him. The clock says 7:22, but then I realize it hasn't moved for days. A very ordinary scene, a ray of sunlight through the gap. I go to open the blinds again, and as I look up to the sky, there's something in the air. Where's it going to lead? Something in the air growing stronger now. What's it going to do to me? So whatever this calling is, it's calling him to go out, to venture out, perhaps out of his comfort zone. I don't know exactly where it's going to lead him. He doesn't know where it's going to lead him, but it's the mystery of it all. Perhaps that is part of the adventure. And I'm sure that wherever it does end up leading him, he will find some sort of satisfaction. Something like that in the lyrics. I don't know. But what I do know is that Neuromantic by Yukihiro Takahashi is a fantastic album. This was so fun to listen to. Like I said, I really hope that you guys enjoyed it with me as well. I'm imagining that this will probably be coming out on a Saturday morning, but it's Saturday morning. Well, actually, it's Saturday afternoon now. It is Saturday afternoon right now, and this is just like, this is setting me up for the rest of the day. I can guarantee you that this is an album I'm going to be putting on and listening to. I'm still in love with that album artwork. The music itself is great. The guest appearances are wonderful. This is just a really, really good album. So thank you guys for the recommendations, even though I didn't specifically do this because of the recommendations, but I appreciate you recommending the album to me anyway. Please, 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 let me know your thoughts. Did you like this? Did you not like this? Did you hate this? Did you love this? Put those thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoy the video, if you enjoy me doing these album listens, which I've been trying to do a little bit more of, press the like button. If you'd like, you can follow me over on Twitter. If you'd like, you can help support me financially for as little as $2 a month over on Patreon. It obviously helps give me more time so I can spend here doing things like this. Even albums that maybe are lesser known, not the obvious choices. I love exploring this kind of stuff. So yeah, helps me do that as well. So anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed the music. Hope you enjoyed spending some time with me here. Please come back tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I don't know what I was going to say. And I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.